will do this based on the...
Well, hello. I have seen some videos on YouTube of people saying or claiming that they channel spirits like Jesus, Moses, or some famous artists that died, or some famous characters of history. And for some who just watch these videos just for fun, I guess it's not a very big issue. But for those who watch these videos and wants to know if it's true, if it's possible, I think it's important to know a little bit more about the subject or the possibility of channeling and contacting spirits. I will provide to you some comments concerning this matter based on Spiritism. Why Spiritism? Because Spiritism was or is a science that was based on the communication between the material world, between our world and the spiritual world, or the afterlife, as some may call it. Spiritism was created by Allan Kardec, a French professor and scientist. He was not a medium or psychic, and that gives his studies some different perspectives, because he didn't study or describe what he saw or what he felt as a medium, but he described situations and happenings considering the analysis of other mediums. He studied the communications by studying other mediums, and his conclusions, and by reaching his conclusions and by analyzing the communications, he wrote some books concerning communications, the quality of the communications, the quality of the mediums. And as he considered that communications with the spiritual world is possible, one of the questions he had to deal with was to know, how do we know if the spirit that is using a name or that claims to be a personality is really who he says he is? So in the Medium's book, item 267, there is a resume of the clues or the steps we should try to follow to make sure that a spirit that claims to be someone is telling the truth. He provides us some clues to try to identify the identity of the spirit. I think that this matter is important because nobody likes to be deceived by a living person or by a spirit. I will be reading some of the steps, and when possible or when I think it is necessary, I will be commenting some things just to make the explanation a little bit clearer for those who are not used to this kind of language. But my strong advice is that you try to find the book, Medium's book. It's available in the internet in PDF files, and you can download it for free. And I strongly suggest you to read all the book to get more understanding or a wider view of what is involved in mediumship. This book is not a guide to make or to turn people into mediums, but it describes all the points of view, all aspects of mediumship. So in item 267, it says, we may sum up the methods of ascertaining the quality of spirits as follows. Number one, common sense is the sole criterion by which to ascertain the quality of spirits and the value of their communication. Any other criterion, though given by spirits for the attainment of this object, is absurd and cannot have been suggested by spirits of superior elevation. Item number 2. Spirits are to be judged by their language and actions, the latter being the sentiments they inspire and the counsels they give. Here I will make some comments. By the language, it's not necessarily to use difficult words and say difficult things and say words or theories that are not comprehensible. On the contrary, the language doesn't have, let's say, cursing words, doesn't have repeated words or things like that. We will see in the next steps what he says about the language. Item 3. It being admitted that good spirits cannot say or do anything but what is good, it follows that nothing evil can proceed from a good spirit. Item 4. The language of superior spirits is always dignified, noble, elevated, and free from the least admixture of triviality. They express themselves with simplicity and modesty. They never make a parade of their learning, nor boast of their position in the spirit world. The language of inferior or commonplace spirits always shows some trace of human passions, every expression indicating ignorance, vulgarity, self-sufficiency, arrogance, boastfulness, or acrimony is a characteristic of inferiority, and also a fraud if the spirit has presented himself under an honored or venerated name. So by this item 4, it's possible for us to know, or at least to start to pay attention and analyze if all spirits that we see in the internet or all the communications we see in the internet claiming that they are from Jesus or from Moses, from let's say any important character of history or any famous artist, if all these communications are true or not, by analyzing this item 4. While item 5, while carefully scrutinizing the style of spirit communication, we must also examine their meaning, weighing their statements coolly, patiently, and without prejudice. If these are illogical, unreasonable, and unwise, there can be no doubt as to the inferiority of their authors, whatever may be the names assumed by them. So this is a complement of item 4. To say many words, to say many things, doesn't mean that a spirit, by saying too many words or by saying complicated things, this is not a proof that the spirit is superior or that is a good. On the contrary, inferior spirits use this kind of disguises to make sure or to try to make people believe that they are superior. And we will see that one of the characteristics of superior spirits is simplicity. Let's read here item 6. The language of elevated spirits is always the same in meaning, if not in form. Their thoughts are the same whatever may be the time and place of their transmission. Their communications are more or less developed according to circumstances, needs, and facilities of communication, but they are never contradictory. If two communications bearing the same name are opposed to each other, one of them is evidently apocryphal, and the true one will be that in which nothing, and the word nothing is stressed here, is which nothing is in contradiction with the known character of its signer. If, for example, of two communications signed Vincent de Paul, one inculcated union and charity, and the other aimed at producing discord, no man in his sense could hesitate as to which would be the genuine one and which the sham. In this item number 6, it is explained that one spirit, let's say one superior spirit, can provide communications by different methods or by different mediums, and the communications may not be exactly the same because the mediums are different, but the content of the communications, the meaning of the communications will be always the same. They are not contradictory in terms of philosophy, in terms of thoughts, in terms of lessons, in terms of things to be taught. That's why one spirit cannot tell you to do something good in one communication, and the same spirit tell you to do something completely wrong or against morality in another communication. So that's what it's being explained in item 6. Item 7. Good spirits only state what they know. They are silent or confess their ignorance in regard to subjects with which they are unacquainted. Bad spirits talk boldly of everything regardless of truth. Every scientific heresy, every theory opposed to common sense, betokens fraud on the part of the spirit who is communicating if he claims to be of high degree. That means that superior spirits or a good spirit doesn't claim to know everything. And inferior spirits, as they do not have any commitment with truth or with morals, they can reply everything or explain or talk about everything because they don't have any commitment with truth. Superior spirits, if they do not know anything about one subject, they do not have problems to say, I don't know about this, or my knowledge about this matter is only this. They are very humble, as we say. I will stop this video right now, let you think a little bit about it. I'm sorry about the reading, that's why I suggest you to go to the book and try to read the book. I will prepare another video continuing with the steps that we could follow, or the steps to which we should pay attention to make sure that we are not being deceived by false mediums or by false spirits communicating through internet. Thank you very much, and I see you in the next video.